Hey class, this is Chris Leinbach. I'm the instructor for Math 1230 Quantitative Reasoning. Just a quick video, go over the syllabus, kind of set some guidelines and expectations for the course. I'm sure that no one is looking forward to a video on the syllabus, but I'll try to keep it short and give all the information that's needed, none of it that's not. Obviously, you're taking this course online. My name is right here, Chris Leinbach. My email, telephone number, that goes straight to my office phone. I do not give out my cell phone to students. However, if you email me, I do have my email going to my phone. Office hours, those are the times that I am in my office specifically to answer student questions. Chances are if you email me a question, those are the times that I will get to it and be able to respond. No, that's not true. I'll be in my office those times, but if you have a question and you email me, I will try to get back to you in a timely manner regardless of what those hours are. If you want to drop by during those hours, you may. If you need to set up a different time, we can try to set it up by appointment. But those hours specifically, I've cut out of my schedule. I will be in my office. Since many of you are online, you may not want to travel. In that case, we can try to set up a web conference or just try to get things hashed out through email and telephone. Course description, you can read that. The big thing that I want to touch on is we're going to talk about topics that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. No one's buying 12 bushels of watermelons in this class. It's just not going to happen. No one does that in real life. We're not doing that here. What we will be doing is looking at taxes. We will look at loans. We will look at some descriptive statistics, like it says there, ratios and rates and percentages. Those are things that you're going to use in your everyday life. Even if you may not use it specifically for, say, rad tech or HIT, if you were ever to get promoted to a manager or a supervisor position, all of those are going to come into play. So these are useful skills that we're going to be talking about. The other thing I want to focus on is the actual words quantitative and reasoning. Quantitative means numbers. There, go figure, in math, we're going to talk about numbers. But the reasoning part of this course is just as important. In quantitative reasoning, we're talking about how to explain yourself, how to collaborate with people. We will be using discussion posts extensively to get that collaboration feel that you're missing when you're in an online environment. So we're going to try to recreate that digitally through Canvas. But we're really focusing on how did you get to that answer. If you miss a number somewhere in a budget report, okay, and it gets flagged, hey, there's something going on, there's something wonky going on here. What we would do then is we would go back and look through your work and be able to tell what you did wrong. If you can explain what you did and there's an error, it's much easier for you and for your colleagues and your supervisors to go back through and figure out what happened, where can we make this correction. So quantitative reasoning is truly the math course for non-math focused majors because of that reason. We're going to focus much more on explaining. There is no textbook. You're welcome. No textbook costs. Math textbooks are stupid expensive. I've spent $120 per textbook easy in my undergrad. So no textbooks. The major course learning objectives, these are really boring. You can read through them. This whole syllabus is posted on Canvas under the syllabus tab. So you can read through those if you want. This is kind of a general idea of what we're going to do over the course of this semester. And you'll see a lot of it is real world situations. We're really focusing on that real world situations so that it's relevant information. The first week, I just copied this from my in-class syllabus. So for you guys, it's going to look a little different because we don't have a Tuesday and a Thursday on this class. But week 1, there's going to be a bunch of introduction type stuff, things that get us explaining, things that get us kind of thinking a little differently than maybe we're used to. So that's going to be introduction to QR. Next week, we get into logic and reasoning. As you can see, these are very generic things, and the gaps will get filled in as we go. But you can take a look at that. Everyone wants to focus on when the tests are. So week 7, you'll have your first test. Then scrolling down here, week 14, you'll have your second test. Closed for spring break. I will have nothing for you to do this week of spring break. In an online environment, you don't get the holidays that some of your in-class counterparts do. For instance, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, you can take that off because you're at home. So one thing that we will have, though, is closed for spring break. I will be MIA for spring break. So I will not be expecting you to turn anything in that week, nor will I assign anything new that week. Let's see. Exam week. We'll talk about that. Exams and tests when we get a little closer to the actual time to take those exams. Evaluation. This is another thing that everyone cares about. This attendance and participation, it kind of sounds weird because how can I take attendance online? I will be using that attendance and participation through those discussion boards that we talked about already. Looking at the grade breakdown, we have labs. In class, I would call them labs. Online, they're the discussion posts. They're all kind of going to tie in together. Homework is 30% of the grade. And I have slotted this 10% of the grade for a project. That is tentative. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then you've got your 2 tests and your final. If you add all these up, you'll see that your tests are going to be 50% of the grade. The other 50% of the grade comes from not tests. That's great to me. I like getting grades for not test because then you can use all your notes. So if the project does not happen, I said it's tentative. If it does not happen, then we will add 5% to labs and 5% to homework. So your labs would become 15%, your homework would become 35%, and that way I still keep that balance of 50% test, 50% not test. Some of this won't apply to you guys because you're not in a classroom, so obviously you're not going to take your exams in a classroom. We will talk about exams, how you'll take those at a later time. Homework. You will need to print out your homework. Fill it out in your own handwriting and scan and upload it to Canvas as a single PDF. You're at home, online. If you're not coming to campus, you do need to have access to a scanner. There's no other way that you will be able to do this course. You must have a way to scan documents. If you're willing to travel to campus while the campus is open, there is a scanner for student use in Bryson Hall. It's one of the buildings on campus. It's that main first building that you'll see if you drive onto campus on the MTC side. There's a giant computer room for student use in Bryson Hall 191. That is where you will find the scanner. There are generally 1 or 2 people sitting in there for tech support. They can help you use it if you've never used it before. But the key is you want to scan it all in as a single PDF. There is an option on every scanner I've ever used where you can load multiple pages as a single file. You'll want to do that here. Failure to comply with these instructions could result in little to no credit for the homework. Labs are what's done in the classroom. For you guys, it's going to be done through discussion posts, and we talked about the projects. I have a homework policy. Homework that is turned in after the due date will be discounted. I'm taking 20% off. Okay, if you turn in the homework late, but you get it in within 48 hours, it'll be 20% off. If you turn it in after 48 hours, but within a week, it's 50% off. No homework is accepted after 1 week late. I try to be more of a lenient type prof. I'm a laid back kind of guy. But going at this without a homework policy was just abysmal last semester. I had too many people trying to turn things in week 6 that were assigned week 2, and it just doesn't work. So in order for me to keep on top of the grading for you guys and to get stuff back to you in a timely manner, I just have to put in a policy for you guys to get it in a timely manner. Labs, you're not really going to have makeup labs because you're not going to have a day in class. So for the online course, there really won't be makeups for the labs. You need to get those discussion posts in on time. Credit hour definition, we are an online course. That means roughly for every 3 credit hours, you should be spending 9 hours of work in this course. That's an average. Some weeks might be 7, some weeks might be 10. If you're a little bit, if you get the material a little faster, you may not need to spend the whole 9. Whereas if you struggle with the material, you might need to spend a little bit more than 9 hours. But you should plan on spending 9 hours of work on this class. And the class is going to be set up to be that heavy in the workload. These college graduate competencies, you'll see those in every lecture video or every syllabus. Communication device usage really isn't an issue in the online environment. Academic misconduct, there's half a page of telling you don't cheat. Financial aid reporting, we talked about attendance a little bit earlier. Your discussion posts are going to double as your labs and your attendance. We do report attendance even for online courses because we have to report that to federal financial aid. The federal government, if they're going to pay for you to go to class, they want to make sure you've actually attended class. So we will take attendance. I will take attendance on a weekly basis. Accommodations for disabilities. Disabilities come in a lot of different packages. But specifically, we're talking about learning, emotional, health, and cognitive disabilities. Physical disabilities, you can also contact Jen. It's just in my brain, at least, I can't think of a physical disability that would make you struggle with the online part of this. Maybe I'm wrong. But learning, emotional, health, cognitive disabilities, we're talking ADHD, we're talking dyslexia, anything that's going to affect your ability to put your best foot forward in a classroom environment. The exams specifically will be timed. The rest of it, you're going to have kind of time to map out yourself. There aren't any quizzes in this course. So the big one will be the exams. But these cognitive issues also extend to depression and anxiety. If you struggle with depression and anxiety, that may also affect your ability to succeed in the course. Again, if you feel like you need accommodations or you just want to see if you get accommodations for anything, talk to Jen Montag. Her email is right there and her phone number is there. She will talk to you about what's going on. I don't need to know the specifics. You talk to Jen. She works with you, and if she needs to, with your doctor, and she gets a plan together for your assessments. And then she emails me, hey, this student gets these accommodations. That's all I get. I don't need to know what's going on. I don't need anything more than that. I just get, these are the accommodations that this student receives. Title IX. Title IX, we think of the basis of sex, but it extends to also sexual harassment and sexual violence. But a specific sex-based discrimination could occur during pregnancy, so it's also included. It's kind of weird to see all of those included in the same area, but they all fall under Title IX protection. I am a mandatory reporter. If I hear of any sort of sexual harassment or sexual violence, I will be reporting it to one of these three ladies. If you are pregnant, you may be entitled to certain accommodations similar to the disabilities, though I am in no way saying pregnancy is a disability. I will celebrate your pregnancy with you. But there are chemical changes that happen in your body when you're pregnant. So working with Jen Montag again, she can help get you certain accommodations during your pregnancy, and it's filled under this. It's filed under Title IX protection, because you don't want one professor saying they will make these accommodations when another one won't. So Jen is the authority on it. She says you have to do this, and we professors just do it. So anything else that may have been added since I made this syllabus, you can find here. There's some other information you might want to look at there. But for now, that's it. I'm going to end this video. Welcome to the class.